Hi everyone, welcome back to Talks with Damanhur Convoy. I'm very pleasure to be here again. And for the very first time, we invited the Capra Carruba. She's the
Hello.
president of Conte. Thank you very much to be here with us. It's a very you are the president of Liber School, so the Damanhurian school. First of all, we want to know something about you, but first of all, I want to say thank you very much for all the people that are sending us questions, that are following our community, that are subscribing to the community. I want to remember to everyone that it is possible to subscribe to receive all the notification about the lives we do in Italian and in English on the usually the first Saturday of the month in English, and every month we touch a specific topic. Is both in the same time is an occasion to talk about the Damanhurian topic, but also to present, to introduce some Damanhurian. So again, Capra, thank you very much. Would you like to say something more about you, who you are, why you're in Damanhur, what is your role in Damanhur, and so on, as
Yes.
you like?
So my name is Capra Caruba, which is the goat, and I am in Damanhur for 25 years, which makes me a kind of an interim generation. So there are always these people who are in Damanhur many more years. So I'm kind of a sandwich generation, and I am in Damanhur. Excuse me, I am a mother. This is also the reason why I'm here speaking about the school with you tonight. I have a son who's 11 years old, and my daughter is 18. And I have been involved with the school for the last 6, 7 years. And this is kind of my voluntary work, actually. So I am professionalized. I am involved in ecological building. I am a sales agent and I sell a German product for insulating houses of biological cellulose in Italy. I never expected that this would be my job. This is really a kind of a joke of the Lord of Karma of mine, because I thought I would be actually I become an apostle, a kind of like Nyomo teaching around the world what Damanhur is about. And this was also my old job, what I did before, working with groups and facilitating courses. But I can see the wisdom after many years that I'm in Damanhur, how much it was teaching me to really, I should say, get my hands dirty, involving my yes, maybe I should really say evolving more my capacities also in manifesting very concrete things and not so much in a very more spiritual path. Because as you know, in Damanhur, it's a really coming together. So our spiritual path really is about materializing who you are in everyday work, and work is an important aspect in this. So I also had the joy and challenge was before COVID in 2020 um, to be entrusted the school. And well, I just started talking. You didn't even ask me anything. You almost said, okay, I just go.
Yes, of course. Yes, please.
So it was a moment that was really delicate in Damanhur. We were just coming out of actually we were still quite in what we call our um, economic emergency. So there was difficulties economically. The school is one of the most expensive projects because we are 100% self-funded by Damanhurian solidarity. So every Damanhurian is basically contributing with a sum about 70, 90 euros a month, whether they have children or not. And this is our budget. And it was not quite enough, or rather, we could no longer afford this. In addition, we had then back then a crisis in demographic numbers of our students. So we had so few kids in the middle school, which is an extremely intense also age group, because you have to have a teacher for every different subject. And if you have just 2 or 3 kids in one class, you can imagine that it is really quite expensive to have them everyone fit to teach them. Why is this so expensive? Well, I just opened a window because also here within Italy, we operate under the law of homeschooling. This is an institutional right in Italy, which is quite different from other countries in Europe. In the United States, you're very lucky because you can do this. And in Italy, though, we have to kind of do a final exam for from the first grade to the 8th grade at the end of the year. We have to present our children in a state school, and they have to show that they have learned what is the state minimum requirement to pass to the next grade.
Yes, I will ask you something more about that. But first of all, Capra, I want to talk about the mission of the school, the Damanhurian school, because Damanhur, as a spiritual community, as a spiritual path, is a path where we believe that spirituality is for every age, from elder to child. And because of that, we chosen from the very beginning uh, maybe after we will talk also about what is going on here around the age of the School of Damanhur. From the very beginning, Damanhur chosen to have a school because we believe that spirituality is something that is spread in all the different ages of life. So, Capra, if you can summarize in a phrase what is the mission of the Damanhurian school? So, what is difference between a normal Italian school and the Damanhurian school? What is the difference of the Damanhurian school?
Yes, great question. And I would actually like to say something afterwards also, how the school is also a mission for Damanhur.
Yes.
And
Thank
so,
you very
but
much.
I will get first to what you asked me. Our school has the mission to work towards the awakening of the kids. Now, this sounds very big. It means that the kids can discover who they are, basically. And this is something very different already from the normal schools, because usually in a normal school system, the kids have to adapt to the requirements, which is a lot about performance. Whereas in our school, we teach a lot about relationship, personal skills, dealing with conflict, with differences, communicating when you are upset with something, communicating at eye level with your teachers, getting to a critical thinking, which will be very challenging for the teachers when they hit pre-adolescence in middle school, because they have all these, very outspoken young people who are ready to share exactly what they disagree with, and they're quite eloquent in saying also what this is. And this is for us fantastic. This is actually what we want. So when by the time that the kids get out of our school, they have learned what the instrumental tools are that they will need to continue then with high school. So 9th grade, they will continue in the high school, which are in Italy specialized and for different themes or matters that the kid might be interested in. So they have the instruments: English, math, Italian, how to write mind maps, how to study. But in addition, they also have the capacity to deal, for example, with the unforeseen. How do we teach them? For example, because we travel. So traveling was something that Falco was absolutely adamant about. He said this thing, what we call in Italian, itineranze, these trips, journeys are extremely important, because this is where kids travel with a long period of time also, up to 8-10 days, with the teachers, where they really learn to be independent. They are autonomous also in emotional ways, but also very practically. They buy the food, they cook, they clean, they decide where to go. They learn how to orient themselves, how to check in an airplane. And this for us is all really important, because also when you travel, you encounter a lot of situations that are not planned. And then you have to improvise and you have to understand, so what now? And they learn this by the example of the teachers. So you can also get an idea that we have really special people teaching, because I don't know where you would find teachers in a school that would take this risk to take, like we would do now in 3 days, 12 kids from 11 to 14 to travel 8 days in Spain. And they also learn on the place. They practice Spanish, which is the second language in middle school. And all of this, what I'm saying, is also starting much earlier, because our school starts with 6 months. And this is when everything that is so experiential, so special in our school, that it is hands-on, it should be joyful learning, and not top down or kind of like music from in front of you. This is starting when they're very young. And also the traveling actually starts when they're 2 years old. They have the first journey of 1 day. And also here it is really typical for our school that we believe that childhood is not a vacation. It's a window where you can learn a lot of things, and we want to really get them out in the world, get stimulus, make experiences that will form their awareness of who they are.
Yes. And so, because we have many people that are following us from all over the world, I want to remember to everyone that you can always ask something to Capra or to me about the topic. So please don't be shy. We love questions. I have a question for you, Capra. Is the Damanhurian school, the purpose of the Damanhurian school, to create Damanhurian citizen or to create citizen of the world? It's both a question and a suggestion.
That is such a hot question, right? And it actually, I just read a bit also, like in these days, all of what Falco has said in the past around the school, and I found traces for both. So one answer is, the purpose is that the children find their path to improve the world and awaken their soul with wherever this will be. This is actually really connected also to a prayer the kids do when they're very small. So this is really like the really spiritual aim, complete freedom of really free will to decide who am I, what do I want to do in life. And we know that some of the kids do have a mission that has to do also with Damanhur. So the connection is also, now here's my son coming in. Okay. No. Okay. This is what happens when you have it.
This is real life.
Yeah,
Real life.
So what I was saying, the other thing is that it is also an aim of the school that it really represents Damanhurian culture and knowledge of the society and of the diversity that we are, because you know that we are the seed, or maybe also the seedling by now, of a new civilization. So what I said before, I wanted to tell you one more quick, was that one thing is that we have the school to form our kids, but then the other thing that Falco brought up in 88 is that you cannot delegate the education to the teachers, but really the school is is like an experience. It's a test for the people of Damanhur to show that they are mature enough to hold the school, which means every Damanhurian is also an educator to the kids and enters into a relationship. So it is not just a school that you can have there at some way. It's not just a function, but it is really a test for Damanhur that we as a people have a school and we are able to carry forth a school and education of a new civilization in this sense. So this is a lot more. And yes, we have a lot of children actually also out of these last 40 years that did become initiates and that are also in leadership roles right now in Damanhur. And I think this is a huge success, not only of the school, but of the people of Damanhur that was able to manifest this kind of school.
Do we have only Damanhurian teachers, or there are also teachers from all over the world that they can teach on the Damanhurian school?
We have teachers from all over the world. Well, actually, mostly they are Italian. But about what I say, maybe 1/3 of the teachers is not from the community of Damanhur, and also from the 75 kids that we have right now, from 6 months to 14 years of age, more than half are not from the Damanhurian community. So in these last 6 years, we've had an enormous opening to the world, which is completely congruent from what is also the mission of Damanhur in the last 13 years, to really open up and invite the world in. For our school, this was a big occasion to a reflection also on our identity. Are we still the school of Damanhur? Or are we kind of a mix now of everyone is kind of doing what they want? And where we're at now is that all the teachers who teach us Damanhur school, at our school, they are on some sort of personal path of growth. And this is the key for us. So it doesn't really matter if you're an initiate of Damanhur. Some of our teachers are Buddhist, or following other gurus, or following still other paths. This is all fine. What we have in common is that they're all on a shared path, and this is enough to have a really strong community of teachers. And right now we have a field of teachers that is just fantastic, because there's so much intention of common ground that also the children really benefit from this.
Awesome. We have the first question from Vesna. Vesna is asking if the Damanhurian school is also involved in the Erasmus program, and also if there is some job showing activity opportunity, so people that they can work with Damanhurian teachers in order to learn and something like that.
Yes, we are involved with Erasmus Plus programs. We are a Gaia school since last July, and we are currently have applied for 2 Erasmus projects with Gaia schools, which will create material that will be useful for other teachers. So I really feel that hitting this 40 years line is opening up for us a completely new chapter, which is already kind of happening now, that we have more teachers and schools actually being interested in what is our method. And as it often happens to us, it seems all normal, or our teachers are very humble, very modest also. They think what we do is not so special. And then we just had a couple from Holland doing interviews, podcasts that I can also share with you there in English, saying you have gold in your hands. And I really hope, our wish for Liber School is that you will have a Liber School Academy in the future, where you can host teachers that can be there with you and stay with you for a month and learn.
Yeah.
So yes, it is not what we do now already, but I think it's exactly this kind of shadowing could be possible, and we have experiences with that also. Learning less experienced teachers learning from more experienced teachers by job shadowing, and this is an experience that we have within the school, and I think we absolutely are happy to extend this to a request from the world.
Yeah. Capra, I have another question, not from the point of view of organization, but from the point of view of principle and meanings. As you know, as we know, all over the world today, there is a terrific situation that conflict is higher and higher. I want to ask you if there is some specific attention about the quality of relationship between the children's and how they can learn to solve conflict or to transform a conflict into a good relationship. So if you have a special attention in order to help people to grow up as a human being and not as animal that are fighting each other.
Yes, there is a lot of attention to this. It's one of our key aspects, really. So when children enter into fights or disarguments about something, the teachers will intervene. And usually, what is already sufficient is to hold the space, to have an understanding, to have one person speak and then another person speak. Now, this doesn't sound like anything incredible, but I think it is, in fact, that in the moment when you really enter into a deep listening, then the relationship can establish itself again, and then the other is no longer the enemy of the moment, but it is it's a friend, and you can understand also that point of view of that person. So we do this in all age groups. I really want to specify also that also in the cradle, 0 to 3 years, and in kindergarten. We have done a lot of this with the context of polyvagal theory, which also means that you understand how in that age conflict has a completely different value, and to not moralize when kids, when they're very little, fight or hit each other, or they're very physical, that you don't moralize this, but that you kind of understand where they're at, also from the development of their brain. So neurosciences have been also a really important asset to understand conflict, because conflict is not only bad, it can really lead you to understand the other person much better if you then give room for conflict and exploring what actually happened and why one person was hurt or whatever, and what was the background. And this also means, for example, also when they do sports, sometimes when you have a game with a ball and someone gets really upset, how can you sort this out? What happened? And all of this always has to do with creating awareness, and creating awareness, helping kids to create awareness around conflict, around what happens, becomes their second nature. And this is something really so precious that for me are really what we call like leadership skills. So often when our kids go then beyond our school to high school or also on, they often have like leading roles in the class as a spokesperson or something, because they're not afraid of conflict. They're not afraid to intervene. They're not afraid to stop and say, hold on, what's happening here? What was your point? And what was your point? And so yes, they have, a lot of them have this capacity, and for some actually it is really a quality that sticks out. For some kids are extremely talented as facilitators.
Capra, I read somewhere also that the division in ages and the very structure and very old and classic structure of the school is not so good in order to create a good relationship between the children. Did you test it? Did you try to mix the different ages of the children? So what kind of effect you received? And I have another question about talents, but
Okay.
after.
Well, we are a really curious school because I don't think that you find many schools where kids can spend the first 14 years of their incarnation in the same school and structure, which means they see the bigger ones ahead of them and the smaller ones in the back. We call this in Italian una scuola trenino. It's like a train where you have
The
all
train
these different
school.
and so we have like 4 different compartments, but they also mix. So in the break, you will see all the kids going down to snuggle babies because it's so nice when you have like these tender hugs babies. So this is part of what happens in the breaks. Also, what happens is the breaks that they play across all age groups. So they play soccer, the boys, and the girls play other things. Usually, that's what happens in that, especially when they're kind of hitting pre-adolescence. And this is a way of cross-age experience, which is very important. In the past, we also deliberately experimented with mixing like the first and the third grade, and then the second and the fourth, when we had mixed age groups in the school because we had so little students. Actually, with the opening to the world, what I told you before, and having now 75 children, this means that we have doubled the numbers also. So we have 24 kids in our elementary school from the first to the fifth grade, and 12 in the middle school from the sixth to the eighth grade. This means that often they are in their classes, and often they are mixed, and both is useful. So to us, as in so many things in Damanhur, we are not really dogmatic about this, but we look what makes sense, and often we have to also adapt to the specific needs of the students that we have.
Yes.
And maybe I could also say one thing that's very interesting is we have quite a high percentage of kids with neurodivergency and specific learning difficulties. For us, it's not a disorder. They're simply differently wired in their brains. But also to see that we call these souls and they come with divergencies is very interesting. So we are still also thinking about, on one way, kind of, you can have a lot of theories about it, but then you have to teach these kids that are having difficulties if you present material in a too traditionalistic way. And so here also we have the advantage that we have often very small classes, like 3 or 5 kids in one class, that allow also for a more personalized approach, because every child has a different learning style.
And talking about talent, of course, all the good schools all over the world, they are focused, they are busy to help the children to express artistic or math talent, scientific talent, and so on. Is the Damanhurian school also focused to help the children to express and to feed also the spiritual talents, or different kind of talent that are not usually present in the program of a school, of the school all over the world?
Yes, art is kind of a medium thing, right? We consider art lesson quite normal, but actually has a really important spiritual dimension.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we have a lot of art. Actually, art is kind of ideally the red thread in everything, in all age groups also, this creative expression. And this is really big. It means that you work on self-esteem, on suspending judgment, you work on your creativity, you work on many of these things. Another part that's really crucial for us is working with nature, because in a moment when you can contact a tree and listen to the voice of the tree, it means that you are in telepathic contact, and that you are developing the capacity to perceive the invisible. And the invisible is extremely important. And this has been also kind of the legacy that Falco has left us after his death, that there should be really an aspect of mysticism in our school, but not that you teach mysticism, but that you teach that part where you can contact spirit in everything, also in grammar, in math, in history, and this becomes then something transversal, right? So it is
Yes, of
not
course.
that we teach one class spirituality, even though we have had in the past also the experiences of really teaching pendulum, radiostatic, finding some treasures that have been hidden, or telepathy and so on. We are always cooking the cake kind of with the ingredients that we have, or rather with the teachers that we have right at the moment. And so it goes also in waves. Right now, at this special moment, we don't have a class on this, but we would like to do this again. Just like dreaming has always been a really important thing. So when also kids come with dreams, they're spoken about, but we are also thinking about including this more. It is in a flux, and again, it is not something dogmatic, but we transmit what is spirituality through the teachers in everything that happens. And actually, in this moment, we are also really considering to strengthen this more, because in all the last years, also often when Falco was being channeled in one of the rituals, what the messages that came out is to encourage the school to be courageous, to be more and more Harry Potter, and even more, to be really a school where kids can go much beyond. And to just give you one example of what this means is that when death is obviously present also in the life of children, because maybe the dog dies or the grandfather dies, and these are issues that we speak about, and all teachers are prepared to answer. And it is not to give a dogmatic answer, but to kind of engage with the children in how do you perceive then your grandfather? How is that connection? So it is always about awareness, and it is in a way always also simple, very hands-on, and to the ground, to give children instruments to cope and to become aware and to use their mysticism and their sense of magic to give meaning to what happens to them in a spiritual terms.
Capra, I'm very curious about the relationship between the children and the plant world, because the children is always faster than an adult. The plant world is pushing us to slow down. So how is possible? So how it work, the connection between the children and the plant world? Is it natural, something very easy that works very well? Because for the adult, usually is not so easy. We are frustrated, we are faster, and so it's not so easy to slow down. How is going on with how is working for the children?
I think it's actually rather easy. I mean, I've tested this. Our kids in the elementary school pick a tree, and this is their tree friend. And when they like, they can go to that tree friend and stay close to their tree friend, and also hug, calm down, or whatever. And for kids, it's very easy when they're also encouraged. To give you another example, to also stretch down on the rock and feel the strength of the rock. They like this. That's all experience. And when I've asked one of the kids, so how do you speak with a tree? What kind of question are you asking? It's obvious. You stand before the tree and you ask the question, you hear the answer. So it's so natural that it's like almost strange I asked.
Yes. By the
And I
way,
think,
a spoiler, Capra, you were talking in many parts of this interview about Falco. Falco is the founder of Damanhur. He is passed away in 2013, but during the entire life, he suggested to the Damanhurian, he helped the Damanhurian to create a very specific, very original spiritual path. So when you, Capra, you're talking about Falco, you're talking about many suggestions, learns, teaching from Falco that they also used in the Damanhurian school, correct?
yes, exactly.
Yes. Capra, so a bird today told me that something very special is going on in the Damanhurian school. Can you tell us something more about what the small bird suggested to me?
Yeah. In fact, it's a small bird, but it's a big thing
It's a
because
big thing from a small bird. Yes.
the school of Damanhur will turn 40 on the 1st of May,
Wow.
which is really incredible if you think that just a rather small community has manifested year by year as an own school that has gone also to various phases. We've also spoken about opening and so on. So we want to celebrate big time on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of May. On the 8th, we will invite all the ex-alumni to come, all the alumni and their teachers to come for dinner. This is kind of private for them. However, I would like to invite all the people who are listening to come on Saturday. On Saturday morning, we will have a Damanhur prayer and a moment of really sharing and circling around our past, future, present, about the treasures that we have. And I think it will be extremely enriching also for people to just be inspired and what can be learned by this. And then, so there we will kind of reflect on experience. And in the afternoon, we will more go into direct experience to experience Liber School with lunch. And then in the afternoon at our school building. And we'd love you to be there. It will be joyful, gameful, and there will be also a little concert. And yes, that's open. So it will be end kind of about 6 p.m. And then, since we expect that we will have many people from our networks like Gaia School, homeschooling projects, we are in contact with university researchers on projects around homeschooling. Other eco villages, we thought it would be fantastic to give a room on Sunday morning for them to together think about self-determined education. So the focus will then not be so much on Liber School, but on how we can network kind of all together. And if you're interested in that field, you're so warmly welcome. And absolutely on Saturday, please plan to come.
Yes, of course. So it will be a very busy week and also a very special occasion to meet people interested in grew up in a human way, in a more evolutionary way. So thank you very much, Capra, for your time. Thank you very much to answer our questions. And also thank you very much for all the people that they are following the Talks with Damanhur. Capra, I hope it will be also possible to have another special occasion to invite you to the talks, maybe to talk about something more, because you are a teacher, you are very talented, you do many things in Damanhur. So I think it will be possible also to meet you again to talk maybe something more. And good luck for the 30 years birthday of the Damanhurian School, and see you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nyamo. Bye-bye. Good evening to all.
Boy. Subscribe to the community, and you can also look at the past talks with Damanhur. It's the third year, so we have many different videos, many different podcasts that you can follow to understand what is Damanhur. And I think it's better to learn and to meet many Damanhurians. Thank you very much. Con voi.
Bye bye.